To all of those who have joined the video conference and the Pexip virtual meeting today, we will be getting started in approximately 1 minute. We're just waiting for a few people to join in and connect. Okay, we're going to get started today. Hi, my name is Michael Peri, Sales Director with Pexip, and thank you and welcome to this Pexip webinar titled Making Visual Communications as Easy as a Phone Call. And today, this session will be recorded and streamed. You're in a live call, and you can feel free to ask questions at any time, either via the chat window, or you can ask questions during the session, and there will be a live demonstration of Pexip as well. I want to give a special thank you to our sponsors, Kumu and Media Network Services, who are making this possible today. And with that, I'd like to introduce Graham Walsh with Pexip in the UK. Take it away, Graham.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. So yeah, as Michael says, we're trying to make video collaboration as easy as possible. What we've done at Pexip is taken the architecture of collaboration and made it interoperate with many standards out there. So today I'm just going to take you through some areas of what we're seeing in the market in terms of what's happening in the video space and why people may be not using video as much as they should. A lot of people are using telephony and audio conferencing. And here on the screen, you can see that there's lots of tools out there today that people are using, whether it's Skype Consumer or Skype for Business, using their mobiles, BYOD, and other third-party tools that may or may not be standard IT issue or it's shadow IT. And a lot of these are causing confusion and for users of what they should be using and what they should be using as a corporate standard. And one thing we see is that video isn't company-wide yet. There's still only certain pockets of people that have got video, and we'll talk about it in a second about how there's lots of huddle rooms coming about, and these may have standard audio conference phones. So you want users to be able to walk up to a room and be able to collaborate, use it. They do today with a conference phone in the middle of the room, so why not add video to it? And some of the challenges we're seeing with video, why it's not being used and adopted a lot, is because it can be difficult to connect and schedule. People try and have too many tools, too many ways of doing things. So it needs to be easy. And things like, checking, can you hear me? Can you see me? There's some of these issues that, sometimes occur because of firewalls. You can't get around everything, but we try and make it as simple as possible by using browser-based technology such as WebRTC. And that's how I've connected today using a Chromebook. Very simple WebRTC platform. And then people think video is complex. It's been around for many years. It's evolved over time. It used to be dial-up with ISDN, very complex. Did it work? And then we moved to IP, where networks aren't an issue now. But people still think it's complex to set up, and it needs a whole team of people to make it work. And we're trying to make it super simple. And again, when you go into a meeting room or a huddle space, cables may not be there. People may have taken them home. They're not the right cable. You've got a different laptop connector. So again, trying to make things simple and do things wirelessly, like I'm doing today. I'm presenting using the Pexip app in WebRTC, but wirelessly into this conference. And again, the rise of shadow IT, we see this in a lot of other areas of the business where people will, get file sync and share platforms, and people are even doing it with collaboration tools because they're frustrated by corporate security policies or other ways that they can't talk to their partners and customers quite easily. They'll go and get a hosted platform. And then finally, there's interoperability, how to bring all these different islands of technology together. And that's what we do at Pexip, is make it very seamless to make it happen. And what we're seeing in the workplace is, most new employees coming into the organization, they prefer video. They're used to it. So a lot of people are using these tools with WhatsApp, Facebook, etc., Snapchat. They're used to video, so they expect it in the workplace. And again, a lot of managers are seeing these things too as well. Having these tools, been able to work from anywhere. So again, a lot of people are connected remotely. We're not all sitting in a Pexip office. We're working remotely. And being flexible and being able to see our managers at any time. And then again, it's not just about collaborating with employees, but it's outside the office. So speaking to our partners, our customers, business to business, business to consumer, and attracting more talent, whether it's remote employees or new business you're looking for. And again, people aren't always at their desk. Again, they might be traveling, but why can't you have collaboration tools? Again, having good quality headsets like I have here, enabling the workforce to work from anywhere, where it could be Starbucks, it could be a train. By empowering them, they don't have to be at their desk all the time. And the next thing we're seeing in the market is around huddle rooms. So again, these are traditionally audio-based, where you have a conference phone, people come in and they dial in, but it's not very interactive. So the next thing we're seeing at the industry trends is that there's going to be a lot of huddle rooms coming that are going to be video enabled. Take, for example, the Microsoft Surface Hub. That's a great collaboration tool and perfect for a huddle space. And people will want to collaborate with them. They don't want to walk up and use the room. They want to be able to talk to other people in maybe another huddle space outside the organization or in another office location. And again, today, most of them are filled with audio conferencing, but why not video enable it and make it as easy as dialing the video call? And also, again, another big trend in the market is obviously BYOD, bring your own device. And again, people will have different platforms, Android, iOS, Windows, maybe BlackBerry, and you want a platform that you can support all these technologies on. So you haven't got a support call every 2 minutes saying, how do I connect this? You just want a platform that's interoperable and available all the time. So how can we solve this at Pexip? Well, a little bit of history of where we are and where we've come from. So a lot of engineers are from Cisco, Tandberg, got some great knowledge from Polycom and Google, and sort of shaped the market and how video is today. And we understand the customer challenges and all the headaches they have. And again, interoperation with things like Skype for Business, which is a main platform that users are adopting today, whether it's on-premise or in the cloud. And again, we're global. We're across the organization, so across the world, sorry. I'm based here in the UK, and we've got people as far as Australia, etc. So we're fully global and have a presence everywhere. And what we see today in the most video environments, first of all, is that you'll have a video platform potentially that will contain endpoints, desktop units, maybe some video phones, and then also conference bridges. But they only talk to each other potentially. And then the next deployment you may have is a Skype for Business or Link 2010, 2013 platform. Again, it might only be talking to itself and not talking to the video platform. And then we see that the next sort of area is web conferencing. So people will have a subscription-based service and doing all their audio minutes and maybe a little bit of web conferencing where they're doing desktop sharing. And again, it may be another application to manage, another plugin to manage. So it's quite cumbersome to try and manage. So far, we have 3 platforms. And then finally, the good old telephone, where everyone can revert back to and dial a conference number plus a conference ID. It's what a lot of people are used to. And again, especially when they move organizations, it'll be the same way of doing things, conference number and ID.
Hey, Graham, I just want to ask you a question just to make this a little bit interactive. How long have you been in the industry? How long have you been helping companies collaborate better?
So nearly 20 years, where it first all started out with digital telephony. The move from analog to digital was a great invention where you could actually, hot desk and log in anywhere and work from anywhere. And then that evolved into IP telephony. And again, a big transition and how people were doing more applications with telephony. It wasn't just a phone anymore. It wasn't just a dial tone. It was an application behind it. Things like contact center and remote working. And then in the video space, started out there, again, helping companies to initially reduce travel. Back in the late 2000s, there was a big reduction on travel for a lot of organizations. And, video helped that. But it was expensive. And, over time, video pricing has dropped. Technology has got better. We're seeing some fantastic USB cameras coming out now. So it doesn't necessarily have to be high-end video equipment to, enable things like huddle rooms and, have video everywhere.
And when you speak with customers today, just to speak to the silos, what are users asking for? A simpler experience? Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, so what we're finding, we attended a show at Microsoft last week at UC Expo in London, and most of the users, small, medium, or even large enterprises, they were asking for a consistent workflow. So maintaining things like Outlook as the main scheduling platform, you can't get away from a diary. People still like to book things and structure their day. But again, if they're moving to Skype for Business, using that as the platform to just bring your calls in, schedule meetings, and join an online meeting. But the challenge there is obviously how do you bring in your legacy video systems, and obviously that's one thing we can solve at Pexip very easily.
Thanks for giving that context, because I think that when you talk about the silos, that's what most companies are living with today, right? Multiple tools, which tool to use when, and maybe that's a good lead into this next slide here.
Yeah, and actually I'll start building a slide. There's a lot of technologies that you need to connect together, and one of the things that again a lot of customers spoke to me last week about was, oh, let's rip and replace our technology. It's old or it doesn't integrate with Microsoft, and that's not really fixing the problem, because the technology there that was developed 2, 3, 5 years ago, the camera and optics are still very good. It's the workflow, the user experience that needs to be fixed. So just by ripping and replacing isn't maybe necessarily the right answer. It's trying to address those workflows to make it simple for users to join a meeting, just like you pick up the phone and dial your digits, or you email someone. So making it very simple for users to do that. And here at Pexip, we are an interoperability platform. So taken on the left-hand side there, where we have all sorts of different technologies, including being able to stream out. So this evening we're streaming to our QMU platform and to YouTube, being able to just seamlessly, be your own publisher and editor, and not having to rely on, complex systems to do that, making it very simple today. So with the sort of Pexip platform, it can be used as a gateway. So taking your standards-based, web browser like Chrome or Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Safari, and being able to dial a room system. That wasn't possible 5 years ago. It was very complex or required lots and lots of technology to make it happen. Now it's just very, very simple. And again, for users that are in a transition phase, so they may have an existing platform of bridging, and they don't want to absolutely rip and replace it just yet. Again, we can add in just a layer of things like WebRTC to talk to their existing systems, to start giving them interoperability to the outside world. And then finally, with Microsoft, being able to very simply bring the two worlds together of standards-based video with the Microsoft technologies for Skype for Business, etc. And one of the fundamental foundations of Pexip was being able to have a large distributed conference, which is very tricky in the old days with dedicated hardware chipsets. So Pexip is all based on standards-based Intel chips and being able to connect anyone in from anywhere in the world, but be seamless like we are today. So I'm sure we're all connected into different areas of Pexip where we have our POPs, but we're seen as one consistent conference. And what this allows us to do is reduce the traffic across your WAN, being able to scale. So just by using standard Intel servers, you don't have to have dedicated hardware. And being able to have a single pool of licenses, so you can add as many different nodes as you need to, but all controlled from the central source. And very easy to deploy, and that's been key as well. And the next sort of highlight really is around where you deploy. So do you deploy it on-premise, in your private cloud, or a hybrid, or even public cloud? And we'll touch on that in a second. But giving you the flexibility of where you want to deploy the platform. And here's an example of a real call that was taken earlier on today of showing multiple users in Australia, in the US, and in Europe, all connected together, but in one seamless conference like we are today. So users don't see any of this, but again, it's a nice feature for IT to have and be able to save WAN costs. So when we talk about hybrid cloud, where some users may have, like we have here, 2 data centers, they're connected together and they can have Pexip in each platform, giving them X amount of resources that they need for their collaboration. And that's okay for their everyday needs. Well, what about when someone calls you at 5 o'clock on a Friday and says, hey, we've got an all hands call on Monday at 9 o'clock. How are you ever meant to get compute and capacity in time? It's very hard to, bring up your hardware supplier to say, hey, give me some more Intel servers, or bring up your traditional VC platform and say, hey, I need a new box by 8 a.m. Monday to get it all ready. Well, with Pexip, we're able to dynamically burst to the cloud by being able to use and extend the platform out to things like Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services and utilize their cloud services, their cloud compute for your duration of your meeting. So you're not actually running it there all the time and running up cost. You can burst to the cloud, have your conference, and then tear the call down again. So making it very seamless for the user. Again, they don't understand, they don't see it. But again, it means you never run out of capacity. Obviously, if you want to go a full public deployment, again, sitting in Amazon and very soon to be Microsoft Azure, you can put the whole Pexip platform in there too. So it's close to your Office 365 platform in Microsoft's data centers, for example. So how do we integrate with Skype for Business? So today, Skype for Business can be deployed in different flavors. So fully on-premise, where the customer has their platform and everything's installed within their data centers, maybe multiple different data centers, or even a hybrid approach. So they may have things like instant messaging, etc., in the cloud, but they may have telephony on-premise. So that would be classed as a hybrid deployment. Or finally, if the customer has moved to Office 365 fully and they're looking at the new things like E5 for telephony and full dial-in conferencing from Microsoft. But Pexip is able to talk to any of those platforms and it's available today. So we work seamlessly with any sort of flavor of deployment that the customer may have. And again, going back to what we're talking about with customers last week at the expo, people want a simple workflow. Use their Microsoft Outlook, use Skype meeting button, not having any extra plugins to manage, but keeping the native workflow. And really now, that's a sort of highlight of what we're doing at Pexip and how we're addressing the issues of trying to make it easy. And we thought the best way to do it was show you how it is all done with the live demo. So I'll just stop sharing my content so you can see my video now. And we'll just jump to the screen and wake that up. So here we have our standard Microsoft Outlook. And most people, you can come into your calendar and you can see what you've got available. And you can click on create a new meeting. So we'll do a new Skype meeting. So very simple for users to come in and see the invite. And for us, we have our platform and our rooms talking to Exchange. So here I have a Polycom system and a Cisco system, standards-based room. And we add them to the meeting. And I've also got another user here on my Surface Book. So we can add them to the meeting. So we'll call in Lisa Simpson. And we can choose our time. And we're going to choose, let's choose now so we can get the call in, 1952. And so people just come in and schedule a call as they would without any issues. And really, the details down here are standard Microsoft Skype for Business, where you click to join. You have your dial-in phone number, and you have your conference ID. So making it very simple for users with Microsoft platform to come and dial. And with Skype for Business, you're able to add a logo if you want down the bottom, but you're also able to put some text. So as an example, we have put some text down here, meet us at pexip.com, or dial our IP address with your standards-based video system, and enter the conference ID above. So making it very simple for users to come in, schedule a room. So again, there's no additional add-ins to do, there's no additional plugins, and so we'll send that out. So we've now scheduled that invite out, and we'll just go back to our inbox. And as you can see, we've got a pop-up, and soon we'll get in the messages from each room system that it's been accepted. And again, from the other users, they'll accept the meeting too. They'll come in here and we'll accept that. So making it very simple for users to come in and be able to start a video. So as a normal user, you'd come in and you'd click join online. So I've now joined the meeting and we shall start my video. So there we have it. We're in a meeting waiting for other people to join. And what we can do now is jump over to my Surface Book. Again, I can have the meeting here and I join online. Again, very simple user experience of clicking to join. And actually what's happened here now in the background, you can see that my Group 500 EP, which is actually my Polycom system, has automatically dialed out. So I've been able to connect in automatically users, so they haven't got to touch anything in. Sorry about that little bit of feedback. So users haven't got to touch anything during a meeting. They can come in, walk in, and here you see the Polycom system talking to the Skype for Business system, being absolutely very seamless. And if you've got platforms such as Cisco, where you've got a touch panel, you've got the message to click to connect. So again, very simple, click to join. So users haven't got to do anything in the meeting, or they just come in, walk in, and press a button. So again, back on the Polycom system, we can see we've got multiple users, being very seamless to join. And what we're now going to do is actually share content. So a lot of people want to share meeting content, and we simply, let's go and pick our inbox. So again, as users would expect in the Microsoft Skype for Business, they are able to see that content across on their desktops. So we'll just jump to that camera over there. So you can see, I can see the content here. But also, if we jump back to the Polycom room system, Cisco, it doesn't matter which one it is, users are then obviously able to see that content too. So it's been very seamless to seeing content no matter where they are within the meeting. So that's very simple, click to join, sharing content from Skype for Business. But what about the other way around? So you have your standards-based room system. People come in, maybe plug in a cable. So I've actually got my iPad connected to my platform here, and I'm going to be able to share this content. I just hit the share button on the touch panel and share my screen. And then if I change to my Skype for Business user on my Surface Book, we can now see that the content is coming through from my iPad. So being very seamless for users to come in and join the conference without having to do anything, just plug in and connect in, click to join, or you can automatically dial. So making it seamless for users to do anything and collaborate very easily. And also another feature of the platform, if you wanted it to, is that you could enable it so it automatically dials out. So there is no requirements for users to touch anything. And at the end of the hour or end of the half hour, whenever the meeting is, being able to tear the call down. So users haven't got to touch a remote control, touch a button. It all just works for them, and everything is automated. So that was a simple overview of the workflow at Pexip and Microsoft Skype for Business, making it seamless and interoperable with many different technologies that are out there. And we see a lot of huddle rooms that will come to the market, and this will introduce even more interoperability headaches. And this is one thing we can solve at Pexip.
Thank you, Graham.
Michael, over to you.
Thank you very much. And Derek, if you wouldn't mind opening up and changing the layout to the virtual auditorium layout, we'd like to open this up the floor now to any questions you'd like to ask. This is a live conference, so whoever asks a question, you'll be seen by everyone, and please ask away. If not, I will ask a few questions that.
Michael, this is Brent Eichton. I'd like to ask a question if I may.
Please do. Welcome, Brent.
Thanks. So I'm taking a look. I'm actually joined through the Chrome browser, and I was able to get connected. I'm just wondering if there's differences in quality depending on the type of client that you're using, because the film strip of the users is actually quite blurry through this client. Would I see different behavior other ways?
That could depend on a number of factors, such as your bandwidth you're connecting at, what's set on the client. So I'm using, a standard Chrome browser just like yourself, and it's quite, very clear, all the images. Well, what we try and do is obviously the main speaker, we, put in, the best quality possible. And then, as you say, the film strip users, because these people aren't, actively speaking all the time, that's a sort of limited sort of bandwidth going to each of those, what we call pips. So trying to optimize your WAN bandwidth as much as possible. So yeah, they won't be, let's say, full high definition in a small square. There'll be a lower, resolution in a smaller square.
Okay.
So to further answer that, definitely you can optimize as part of a deployment of Pexip, based on your bandwidth settings. One thing that we do that's very unique is, and it's something we have patents on, is the ability to significantly reduce the bandwidth for a multi-party call like this. As you see in this call right now, the active speaker is going to use about 1 meg to 1.2 megabits per second for 720p call, as Graham is doing. And then the rest of these pips are going to use no more than 100 kilobits per second. And it does depend on what your link is set at. You're probably at like a 576 kilobit setting, but you can definitely enable it in your organization to have crystal clear video all the time by optimizing Pexip with your wide area network and even over the internet. But I guess it just comes down to how you got it configured and how we optimize Pexip for you. In terms of clients, there are differences between the different clients and the way they handle video. Isn't that correct, Eric? I mean, there's going to be variables between, say, how Skype for Business handles the video and, say, maybe Internet Explorer, etc.
Sure, yeah, just between the different versions of browsers. So, whether it's Chrome with the native WebRTC capabilities, or older versions of Internet Explorer, things like that, the experience can differ from time to time depending on on the client. The same way as if a user is using a Link 2010 type of client or a new Skype for Business client. Those types of things can definitely affect sometimes just the video performance that you may see. And also just within our WebRTC client, just as Michael said, we do have the ability to change and select different bandwidths. So even yourself, odds are it's connecting at probably the 576 bandwidth, and you could bump that up to the full meg and get a full HD connection through your Chrome browser.
Thank you.
So I do have a question. This is for Jim McKelvey with Kumu. Jim, if you want to maybe just for a few moments explain what Kumu does in terms of the integration with Pexip and how you can leverage Kumu from a streaming and recording perspective.
Sure. Kumu offers a centralized record and stream integration with the platform. So right from the interface, we add a control record button down here. And during record, we transition to the various states, stop and pause. You also have the ability to simultaneously stream that meeting should you want. And then each individual is authenticated via your corporate security. So you have access to your recordings. And from there, you can share, stream those, or post those into your own internal intranets or external websites, depending on how you want to apply that. Is that quick enough?
Yeah, that's quick.
Okay.
That's definitely quick enough. If anyone on the call here is looking for more powerful solutions for doing larger scale training sessions, town hall meetings, that you want to allow two-way interaction like this, we've had clients host as many as 800 people in a call like this, where you can go between different layout views and have much more effective large calls. This is the virtual auditorium where we can show up to 21 plus one participants, so a total of 22. If you had more people off screen, it would give you a plus indicator like you saw earlier. Derek, if you wouldn't mind switching this to lecture mode real quickly, just so they can see what that would look like. And then the 4 squares, just so you can understand there's different ways that you can present the layouts for different types of meetings. The control is provided by the host. So we make it very simple for the participants so that they don't have to think about what they need to do to be in a meeting, but we give the host some advanced controls and capabilities, including the ability to mute all, to lock the conference, to disconnect selected participants, etc. This is very much a enterprise class solution with very advanced security, designed to integrate with all of your existing investments. So, so Brent, if you have existing video conferencing and you see investments, and Derek, if you don't mind switching back to the virtual auditorium view, this is a platform that can be very extensible and essentially bolt into what you already have. So with that, are there any other questions? Anyone else have any questions? Because we can stay on if you'd like to talk further and go deeper. Otherwise, please engage with us. And then, Justin, who's the grand prize winner of the Amazon Echo?
Let me unmute myself here. So we've got the Amazon Echo here. Really excited to pick a winner. We're going to use the old traditional Pexip hat. Got everybody's names in here. We're going to throw them in.
I hope it's me.
And Brent, that's you.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much. Brent, we'll just reach out to you offline to coordinate delivery for you, okay?
Perfect. That sounds great.
Well, thank you everyone for your time today. Best way to reach us is go to our website, pexip.com, or go to our business partners as well, kumu.com, Q-U-M-U, and Media Network Services, which is mns.vc. I just want to make sure everyone understands that M&S was powering this conference behind the scenes across multiple nodes, all interconnected over the internet. And it's not easy to do great video across the internet, so hopefully you all had a great experience, and hopefully we can talk to you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.